You've just watched it happen again. Someone incompetent gets promoted. They're bad at their job. Everyone knows it. They've made expensive mistakes, failed publicly, caused messes other people had to clean up, and now they're your boss. Meanwhile, the person who actually keeps everything running stays exactly where they are, overlooked, undervalued, invisible. And you're asking the only honest question, how does this keep happening? Niccolo Machiavelli asked the same question 500 years ago. What he discovered should disturb you. Stupid people do not accidentally rise to power. The system pushes them there, not because of a hidden conspiracy, but because of how power structures naturally evolve. Machiavelli watched this unfold in Renaissance Italy. Incompetent nobles inherited authority. Foolish generals lost wars. Corrupt officials ruined cities. Meanwhile, brilliant strategists, capable administrators, and wise advisors remained sidelined or were eliminated for being too perceptive. He realized this was not chaos. It was a pattern, and the pattern revealed something uncomfortable. Stupidity is not a disadvantage in the pursuit of power. It is an advantage, not a flaw, a feature. Machiavelli wrote in The Prince, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." Translation: in power games, appearing competent matters more than being competent. And stupid people excel at appearances because they don't know enough to doubt them. Today, I'm going to walk you through Machiavelli's full analysis of why stupid people run the world. Not to demoralize you, but to equip you. Because once you understand the mechanisms that elevate stupidity, you can navigate around them, or at least stop being confused by them. This is why stupid people run the world, and why they always have. Let's begin. Stupid people speak with absolute confidence because they don't grasp complexity. Smart people speak with nuance because they do. And crowds follow confidence, not accuracy. Think about the last debate you watched. The intelligent person says, this issue has multiple variables. Historical context suggests A, emerging data points to B, and we should account for C before deciding. The stupid person says, the answer is obvious. We do X. Anyone who disagrees is an idiot. Who wins? The stupid person. Every time. Not because they're right, but because certainty is psychologically satisfying. Machiavelli saw this constantly in Florence. Politicians who admitted complexity were dismissed as weak. Those who offered simple answers were celebrated, even when their solutions ended in disaster. Why? Because the human mind uses shortcuts to evaluate leaders. We evolved in environments where decisiveness often mattered more than precision. The leader who shouted, "Run now," saved more lives than the leader who said, "Let's evaluate the threat." That shortcut once worked. But it collapses under modern complexity. Simple problems reward simple thinking. Complex problems punish it. Yet we still obey the confident voice because confidence feels like competence. This is the Dunning-Kruger effect, centuries before psychology named it. The less you know, the more certain you feel. The more you know, the more aware you become of what you don't know. Stupid people don't experience the doubt that comes with understanding complexity, so they speak with a certainty. Intelligent people cannot honestly mimic, and that certainty wins again and again. Now look at your workplace. The intelligent colleague says, "We should test this." Projects like this usually run into complications. The stupid boss says, "Just do it. It'll work. I'm confident." When it somehow succeeds, who gets the credit? The boss who projected certainty. When it fails, who gets blamed? The person who raised concerns. Machiavelli would recognize this instantly. He wrote, "Men judge more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see, but few can feel." Translation: everyone can judge confidence. Very few can judge competence. So confidence gets rewarded. Competence gets ignored. This is the first reason stupid people run the world. They project a certainty that intelligent people cannot authentically fake, and systems select for certainty over truth. But this goes deeper. Power structures exist to preserve themselves. Stupid people preserve them. Intelligent people question them. So power structures naturally select for stupidity. Imagine you're running an organization. Two candidates apply for leadership. Type A notices inefficiency, questions outdated procedures, proposes changes that would disrupt the system, challenges authority when it's wrong. Type B follows rules without questioning, accepts hierarchy automatically, defends existing processes, never causes friction. Which one gets promoted? If you're optimizing for institutional stability, and almost all institutions are, you promote Type B. Why? Because Type A is dangerous, not malicious disruptive. They notice what's broken and want to fix it. But fixing requires admitting something is broken, and admitting something is broken threatens the people who built the system or benefit from its dysfunction. So intelligent people get rebranded, not a team player. Difficult. Bore cultural fit. Bore cultural fit. Too critical. Meanwhile, stupid people rise. They don't question leadership. They defend bad decisions. They maintain comfortable dysfunction. They pose no threat to existing power. Machiavelli watched this hollow out Florence again and again. Brilliant advisors who identified real problems were exiled or executed. Mediocre flatterers who praised rulers were promoted and rewarded, not because leaders preferred bad advice, but because they preferred advice that didn't endanger their position. This creates a selection mechanism. The path to power requires not threatening those who already have it. And the easiest way to avoid threatening them is to be too stupid to recognize what's wrong. Now look at politics. The candidate who says, our entire approach is flawed, almost never wins. The candidate who says, we just need more of what we're already doing, gets elected. Why? Because the second message threatens no one. It demands no change, no admission of past failure, no risk to entrenched interests. The first message threatens everyone invested in the current system, and those people control who rises. So stupid people ascend, not in spite of their stupidity, but because of it. Their stupidity makes them safe. It makes them maintainers, not challengers. It makes them ideal servants of systems that require obedience, not reform. Incompetent leaders feel threatened by competent subordinates, so they hire people even less competent than themselves. This creates a cascade. Machiavelli wrote, the first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. But he also understood the darker truth. Weak leaders select weaker subordinates to ensure they are never challenged. Now consider what happens once a stupid person gains power. On some level, they know they aren't competent. They can't admit it consciously, but the insecurity is there. So when they hire, they face a choice. Option A, hire someone smarter. Risk exposure, risk replacement, risk looking foolish by comparison. Option B, hire someone less capable. Feel secure. Remain unchallenged. Always be the smartest person in the room. Which do they choose? Option B, always. This produces what organizational psychologists call competence cascading. Level 1, an incompetent leader, IQ 100, hires people slightly worse, IQ 95. Level 2, those hires select people at IQ 90. Level 3, that layer selects IQ 85. The result is an organization with a 15-point intelligence collapse from top to bottom, with incompetence multiplying at every level. Machiavelli saw this destroy Italian city-states. Wheat princes surrounded themselves with flatterers. Flatterers hired mediocrity. Mediocrity hired failure. Within generations, effective governance became impossible. Not through invasion, but through internal selection for non-threatening incompetence. You've seen this in modern corporations. An insecure CEO hires VPs who won't challenge him. Those VPs hire directors who won't challenge them. Those directors hire managers who pose no risk. 5 layers down, the company is filled with people chosen specifically for their inability to recognize or solve problems. And this happens naturally. No conspiracy, no coordination, just each layer protecting itself from the threat that competence represents. Psychologists call this homophily, the tendency to associate with similar others. But in power systems, it's a downward version. Each level selects people slightly worse than themselves, because advancement depends on being safe to those above you. So the ones who rise are the least competent people who can still function. And when they gain power, they repeat the pattern. The result? Stupidity becomes institutional, self-perpetuating, shielded from intelligence by layers of incompetence. This is how entire organizations, industries, and governments become systemically stupid, not through sudden collapse, but through slow, perfectly logical selection. Our minds evolved to follow confidence, not competent. And without expertise, we can't reliably tell the difference. Machiavelli understood this. He wrote, the vulgar crowd is always taken by appearances, and the world consists chiefly of the vulgar. He wasn't insulting people. He was describing a universal limitation. Judging confidence is easy. Judging competence is hard. Now think about how you judge someone's capability in a field you don't understand. Can you assess a surgeon's skill by watching them operate? Not unless you're a surgeon. Can you judge an engineer's competence by reviewing their calculations? Not unless you're an engineer. Can you evaluate a strategist's wisdom by listening to their plan? Not unless you've been a strategist. But can you judge their confidence instantly? Everyone can. So the brain uses confidence as a shortcut for competence. For most of human history, this worked well enough. The confident hunter likely had experience. The confident warrior probably knew what he was doing. The confident leader usually had real ability. In modern complexity, that shortcut fails catastrophically. Today, confidence often signals the opposite. Someone too ignorant to recognize what they don't know. And yet we still follow it because the programming runs deep. Research confirms this. A 2020 study found that people who displayed overconfidence were far more likely to be perceived as leaders, regardless of actual competence. Groups led by confident fools didn't perform better. They merely believed they did. Because confidence is contagious, it spreads certainty, and certainty feels good even when it's wrong. History is filled with the consequences. General Custer, supremely confident, rode his men into slaughter at Little Bighorn. Titanic engineers, convinced the ship was unsinkable, failed to provide enough lifeboats. Financial leaders in 2008, confident in their models, triggered a global collapse. In every case, confidence came first. Disaster followed. But confidence persuaded everyone to follow, right up until the moment it was too late. Machiavelli would ask, why do we keep falling for this? Because distinguishing confident competence from confident incompetence requires expertise most people don't have. When that expertise is absent, people default to confidence. This is why stupid people run the world. Not because people are stupid for following them, but because our psychology makes confident stupidity more persuasive than cautious intelligence. And stupid people are always more confident because they don't know enough to doubt themselves. There's another layer. Moral reasoning handicaps. Intelligent people in power struggles. Stupid people, unburdened by ethical complexity, have access to strategies intelligent people hesitate to use. Machiavelli wrote, "A prince who wishes to maintain his position must learn how not to be good and to use this knowledge or not use it according to necessity." This is why Machiavelli is labeled cynical. But he wasn't promoting immorality. He was describing an asymmetry. In any competition, the person willing to cheat has options. The ethical person doesn't. They can lie without guilt, make promises with no intention of keeping them, undermine rivals through deception, exploit fear and prejudice, spread misinformation, steal credit, shift blame. And stupid people do these things more easily. Why? Because intelligence usually comes with complex moral reasoning. Intelligent people think, if I do this, what are the consequences? How would I feel if it were done to me? What kind of person does this make me? Stupid people think, will this work? Yes, then do it. The moral calculus slows intelligent people down. It introduces hesitation and inner conflict. Stupid people feel none of that. They act immediately. And in competitive environments, that speed is often rewarded. Machiavelli saw this repeatedly in Renaissance politics. Moral leaders were removed, exiled, assassinated, betrayed. Immoral leaders survived and consolidated power. Not always, but often enough to establish a pattern. You see the same dynamics today. An ethical candidate refuses to use misinformation and loses to someone who spreads it freely. An ethical employee refuses to steal credit and is passed over for someone who does. An ethical executive refuses to cut corners and is outcompeted by one who doesn't. The unethical actor is not necessarily smarter. Often, they're stupider. But their stupidity includes a lack of moral complexity that would otherwise restrain them. This creates a game theory nightmare. When ethical behavior is punished and unethical behavior is rewarded, the system selects for unethical actors. And unethical actors are frequently stupid actors because intelligence tends to develop alongside ethical reasoning. So the system doesn't select for stupidity directly. It selects for behaviors that stupid people perform more easily. Machiavelli's warning was not, be immoral. It was this. Understand that morality is a disadvantage in the struggle for power. Design systems that account for this, or amoral actors will dominate. We didn't listen. And stupid, amoral people continue to run the world. Incompetent leaders generate constant crisis to prevent scrutiny of their incompetence. And chaos benefits stupid people far more than it benefits intelligent ones. When things are calm and stable, competence is easy to evaluate. Results can be measured, alternative compared, performance assessed. Chaos destroys that. In crisis, everyone is too busy reacting to judge anything clearly. Bad decisions get excused as we had to move fast. Failed strategies get blamed on circumstances. And stupid leaders are natural generators of crisis, not usually on purpose, but inevitably. Their incompetence creates problems. Those problems create chaos, and the chaos protects them. Watch the pattern. Week 1, a stupid leader makes a bad decision. The consequences aren't visible. Week 2, the decision creates a problem. The leader makes another bad decision to fix it. Week 3, both decisions compound into larger failures. The leader sparks controversy to redirect attention. Week 4, everyone argues about the controversy. The original decisions are forgotten. Week 5, a new crisis erupts from the second decision. Everyone reacts. Repeat indefinitely. The incompetence is never examined because there's always a new emergency demanding attention. Machiavelli saw tyrants use this deliberately. Modern stupid leaders do it accidentally. Their incompetence manufactures chaos without strategy. Now consider the psychological effect. Continuous chaos exhausts people's mental resources. When individuals are overwhelmed, they stop analyzing patterns and switch to pure reaction. Psychologists call this cognitive load. When the brain is consumed by immediate crises, there's no capacity left for deeper evaluation. And deeper evaluation is exactly what would expose incompetence. Chaos becomes armor. Think about political leaders who generate nonstop controversy. Are they master strategists, or are the distractions masking policy failure? Think about executives who constantly reorganize their company. Are they innovating or preventing anyone from measuring whether anything works? Think about managers who create endless drama. Are they dynamic or incapable of managing without chaos? Here's the rule. Competent leaders create stability that allows evaluation. Incompetent leaders create chaos that prevents it. And stupid leaders generate chaos naturally, then survive because the chaos shields them from scrutiny. Systems that genuinely reward competence are rare. Most systems reward appearance, confidence, and non-threatening compliance. And those systems inevitably select for stupidity. Ask yourself what actually determines success in most organizations. Results? Sometimes, but results are slow, ambiguous, or easy to obscure. Competence? Sometimes, but competence is difficult to evaluate without expertise. So what actually gets rewarded? Appearing busy, regardless of output. Confidence, regardless of accuracy. Loyalty, regardless of ability. Likability, regardless of effectiveness. Political skill, regardless of ethics. All things stupid people can do, often better than intelligent ones. Intelligent people know when they're not productive, feel discomfort faking, experience doubt, struggle to project false confidence, question authority, resist blind loyalty, make others uncomfortable with their intelligence, find political games degrading. Stupid people believe they're productive even when they're not. Project confidence without realizing it's unwarranted. Follow authority effortlessly. Make others comfortable, not threatened. Excel at political maneuvering. Don't see it as beneath them. So in most systems, stupid people have built-in advantages. Machiavelli would ask, what systems actually reward merit? His answer, very few, and they are fragile. Merit-based systems require clear feedback, objective evaluation, long-term thinking, expertise-driven selection, and protection from political manipulation. Most systems have none of that. Instead, they rely on delayed feedback, subjective judgment, short-term incentives, popularity contests, and vulnerability to politics. And in those systems, which are most systems, stupidity flourishes. History confirms it. Rome began with merit-based military promotion and ended with inherited rule under incompetent emperors. China developed civil service exams to reward ability, then corrupted them into mechanisms that rewarded conformity. Modern corporations start focused on competence and slowly transform into political ecosystems where appearance outweighs performance. The pattern never changes. Systems that reward merit decay into systems that reward appearance, unless they are actively defended against that entropy. Most are not, so they drift towards stupidity. This is why stupid people run the world, because systems capable of preventing them from doing so are rare, unstable, and constantly undermined by the very people who benefit from stupidity.